Galentine's Day is the 16th episode of the second season of Parks and Rec. This is directed by Ken Kwapis, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And I really liked this episode. I don't have a tremendous amount of thoughts, but I did really enjoy it. It starts off with Leslie handing out gift bags for a Galentine's Day breakfast. And if you're unaware, I feel like it's probably pretty obvious, but basically Galentine's Day is Valentine's Day, but when all of the female friends and relatives just get together. And Leslie's mother tells a story about an old flame called Frank, and Leslie decides it would be really great if she tracked down that old flame and reunited him with her mother. So she and Justin go off to do this, and they find him. He's called Frank. He's played by John Larroquette, and I feel like the character was maybe either underdeveloped or just not that interesting, because apart from a few small things, he seemed to be rather dull. Leslie kind of ultimately thought he was a bit strange and not... She basically went back on her idea of introducing him, or reintroducing him to her mother, and I'll talk about what happens in a moment. But I never really feel like there was a strong enough reason for that, for many reasons. I just feel like the character wasn't well written. I feel like we were missing something. But that aside, it worked well enough. Frank ended up meeting her mother again, and Frank displayed some strange behaviour towards the end. Honestly, it kind of just fizzled out. I do feel like something was missing, or maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. But it was a nice concept, maybe not the best executed, but the bulk of this all takes place in the senior centre where there's this dance going on. It's a really lovely environment. We have Andy's band playing some really nice music. We have a lot of classic Valentine's Day style decorations. Everybody's dressed really nicely. It looks really great. And we have a weird moment with Anne, actually. She tells the camera that Mark's a really good boyfriend, and she didn't really have a lot of enthusiasm in her voice when she said that. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen going forward there. And there was a moment where she approached Andy, and it was almost like maybe she was remembering Valentine's Days she had with Andy, and maybe those days were better. I don't know. It was an unusual moment. And then when April saw Anne talking with Andy, April walked up to Andy, clearly jealous of the situation, and I feel like we're getting ourselves into some strange triangle here. And then Andy's band plays The Way You Look Tonight, which was really beautiful. It's not only Anne, though, who's having mixed feelings, or potentially mixed feelings, about her love interest, because Leslie's not exactly happy with Justin. And to be honest, I never cared for Justin, so I'm not too bothered about this, but it's actually Ron initially who realises Justin might not be right for Leslie. And this is when Justin is telling a group of people about this story with Frank and what they did and how they went to collect him and things. And he doesn't care for Leslie. In fact, he makes it known that he doesn't even know where Leslie is at that moment. Not that he needs to know where she is all the time, but the point is, he didn't care. He didn't have any concern at all. And Ron picked up on this. And Leslie ends up opening up to Ron about this. And I love Ron and Leslie's relationship. I think they have this really brilliant friendship, this great support of each other, and this really comes across in this episode. And Ron points out, Justin's selfish, Leslie isn't. And that's why Leslie doesn't like Justin. And I think that that's a really great way of summing it up. It's also a really nice way to show that Leslie's a really good person and she's not selfish. And that definitely comes across. So for me, that's quite an interesting thing to happen. I didn't care for Justin, as I said. I am also very bored. I've been bored since the beginning of this, but I do not care about Anne and Mark's relationship. I just never have cared. So if that fizzles out, I won't care about that either. Do I want Andy and April to get together? I don't think so. But if it happens, I wouldn't be that bothered, depending on how it plays out, of course. So a lot of relationships are up in the air right now, and I'm keen to see what happens going forward. And for now, I can say Galentine's Day was a really good episode of Parks and Rec. A lot happened. It handled everything really well, and the dance centre, or the senior centre dance, really beautiful, great music, gorgeous decor. So I'm pretty happy. Galentine's Day is definitely not a bad episode of Parks and Rec.